Okay, welcome back. So we're going to be working on the nails now. So let me change the screen dynamic to them standard, and let's move to the move topological brush. So the move topological brush is going to be a great helper for the next step I'm about to take now for the nails. So I'll select the bat itself and then shift D to go to a lower subdivision level. So somewhere around 4K should be fine. Okay, I'll do the same thing also for the pokers, for the rings and pokers. Shift D to go to lower subdivision levels. Now I can select the nails now. So with the nails visible now, I am going to, let's see, just get this in this way. Let's see, I'm not going to be adding subdivision levels on this nail. They are fine the way they are, and I'm not going to be creating layers for the nail also, so they're completely fine the way they are. But I'm going to modify them a bit more. So let me just go to polygroup, and I'll use auto group on this. Okay, so now each individual piece now has a separate polygroup to self. Right, so now I'm going to start working on them individually. Sorry about that. Okay, now so I will just go to, let me just put this by the side and show you guys what I'm trying to do. So I'm going to start bending some of these nails just to create some kind of randomity to some of the nails. So most of them will not be looking straight. And the move topological brush is like the best brush to use for this. So I'll just start manipulating this with the move topological brush. Well, let me see if there's a way to isolate it by a single piece and then work on this. But I don't think that would be necessary though, because the move topological brush will do a really good job for us in here. So yes, something like this. If we're using the normal regular move brush, I will try to move a particular piece. If that particular piece, if the size of the brush is kind of occupying or kind of around a particular model or separated piece in your camera view, that move brush will actually kind of move that out the move brush will actually move everything that is basically in your camera view. But with the move topological brush, it gives you the privilege to only move just that separated individual piece with its own topology on top of it. So that gives this brush more advantage on exactly what we want to do right now. That's why we can just work on this even without having to max out an individual piece. So we can just work on this individually and then just bend this even more. So I'm basically going to be doing this on the entire nail piece, on each particular nail piece. So the steps are basically the same. With the move brush, like this is just purely based on your artistic opinion, depending on how you want to bend and deform this. So it's completely up to you. So you can even take your time as much as you want to even bend this more accurately using reference image online. But but looking at the way it is right now, I think I will not be needing too much reference images online to kind of bend this nail, because like seriously, we're just bending nails. How hard could it be? But if you want to go pro mode on this and then use reference image, like sticking with reference image from alpha to omega, you can basically do that. But this is just basically bending nails, so it shouldn't be too much of a big deal bending up these nails and deforming them even a bit more. So I'm going to bend the caps of the nail just to make it feel more interesting. I'm not going to be showing you guys the entire process for bending every single nail on this model because the process is more or less repetitive. It is more or less a repetitive process. So I'm not going to do this for this just for this first piece, this first lower part of the nail. Then for the mid part of the nail and the upper part of the nail, you can just do that by yourself. Okay. So I'm done with everything now. Let me see if there's anything else to to do to fix in here. Okay, yes. Maybe even the cap. Probably even the cap. I might need to deform the cap even more. Yes. Let me kind of use the same move topological brush to deform the cap even more. And you can even smooth some of the caps out just to make it bend a bit more. Because now we're using a higher intensity of smooth. So that will kind of, and we are working with a very low resolution, really low polygon count on this nail. So smoothing this out kind of even gives some kind of interesting deformity on the nails. Okay. So I'll just keep blocking and kind of making things feel more interesting. You can use other brushes though if you want to make this look more interesting. That's completely fine. That's completely up to you. But the move brush and the smooth brush should do most of the job for me. Okay. Let's push this in like so. Right. Okay. Just keep working on this. I'm almost done with this though. Then we can just repeat the same steps on the other parts. Okay, something like so. I think we're basically done now. Then we can just replicate the process for the other parts, and I'll be back when I'm done with that. So okay, Shift F. I'll probably just max out all of this. Then Control W to give them a separate poly group. Max out the upper parts. Control W to give them a separate poly group. Then Control Shift and click on this poly group to kind of isolate this. So now I'm done with this now. So I'm basically done with I'm basically done with everything now. Just bending and deforming it the way we did for the lower parts, the lowest part rather. Okay. So now I'm going to go an extra mile and even detail this even more. So I want to kind of create this indentation in here on the model. So just to make it feel more realistic, I'm going to create this indentation in there. But I'm not going to be creating that indentation all over the model though. Now that indentation is actually caused when you kind of use the nail to hit, when you're hitting the nail on the wood, and then probably you hit it at the wrong angle, and then instead of the nail going into the wood, the nail gets bent down at an angle, gets bent at an angle, and then you have that kind of indentation on the wood. So I'm trying to try and create that similar effect. A nail that just goes straight into the wood, we want to kind of give you that indentation on the side. And then also when you try to pull out the nail, and you're kind of shaking the nail to pull it out of the wood, it's kind of create that same in the indentation in there also. So I'm using that same idea to kind of recreate this also in here. So I'm going to be doing that. I'm not going to be doing that on the nail. I'm going to be doing that on the wood itself. So I need to go to the higher subdivision level on the wood, and even create. I'm even going to create a new, and I'm also going to create a new layer also for the wood too, just to have that indentation in there. Okay, let me just go in here and create a new separate layer for this. So let's see. Let me create a new layer now. Then I'm going to rename that to nails goals. But what I'm actually going to do is that I'm going to turn off the other wood, this other alpha detailed layer we added in here. I'm going to turn that off. Let me go turn that off. So let me I downloaded the brush offline. So let me see if I can actually use that brush to kind of create what I need. So let's try this. So that's some new holes alpha that we can use. Sorry about that. So let's see if this actually works. It's supposed to be on supposed to I can't even see it working at all. Let me put this to drag rec. Uh no, it's not even working at all the way it should. So let me see. So I'm going to be using normal. Let me use normal. Let me just use generic alpha, default alphas in here from Zbrush. Let me just use one of these should work just fine. One of these should work just fine. Let's try this. Okay, let me just try something that has a bit of a texture in there. Probably. Let me try this one. Let's see. I'm going to increase the intensity for this. Okay. That seems to do something, but not completely there though. Let me undo that. So let me kind of turn off the other layers. I just want just the base layer on top of this should be fine. So now maybe let me try this in here now. No, I'm supposed to do building holes. Create an indentation here. Something like this should be fine. Let's see. Uh, okay. Maybe I'll just use another flat looking alpha instead. Yeah, something like this should be fine. So now I can just drag this in. It does not seem to be showing up. Let me undo that. Does it seem to be showing up properly? Let's see how to fix this. So it's working outside here correctly, but in here it doesn't seem to be working. Probably because of the nail in front of it. This looks fine, but this will not work. Supposed to be from the center of the nail itself. Supposed to be from the center of the nail itself. I'm not really satisfied with this though. Not really satisfied with this. Okay, no, let's try transparency. Let me undo that and let's try transparency on this now. So while it's on transparency, we can actually go in there and hear much better. Much better. This will actually work now. This will actually work. So yeah, so now I can just keep using the transparency mode and then just drag this out on top of it. Okay, that seems fine. So yeah, this will definitely work. So to create another indentation in there, just drag out that same alpha closer to it to create another indentation in there. Okay, let me do this again. Somewhere around there should be fine. So yeah, this is exactly what we need. Exactly what we need. Okay. So now I can keep using the transparency now to kind of keep drawing out this alpha on each part of the nail. Okay. So it's more or less like a repetitive process now. Okay. So I've gone around and I've repeated that same thing all over, same process all over the other names. So now I'm going to be so now I'm going to be still detailing this even more. So I'm going to turn off this alpha, then to turn off this drag reg. I put this on dots. So I want to kind of use the normal default standard brush to kind of start digging into this hole even more. Okay, something like this, just to have some more depth inside of them. So something like so, even more depth in here, more depth in here, especially the center part. Okay, so almost there. I'm going to be doing this for every single nail hole we have in here. I'm going to be doing that for every single nail hole. Okay, in here also, in here also. So it's more or less like a repetitive process right now. This is like a repetitive process around the entire thing. I'm sure you guys get the idea already. All right. So I've gone around and I've done that all over those each and every single hole. So now I can go out of solo mode now and even bring back those alpha layers now. Yeah, let's see what we have. Yeah, this is fine. This will work just fine. This will work just fine. This is actually cool. So that's fine. So I'm going to see you guys in the next lesson. I will start exporting all of this out into my kind of start creating our UVs for this. So bye for now.